Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us here after the premiere of episode 230. I appreciate you guys joining us. Hello, Christ is my Lord. Hello, Joan. Hello, everyone else who's joining us. Wendy, Wendy, are you here? Have you made the leap yet? I saw what was happening in the chat, and I wanted to share something with you. Hello, P. Walden. I know I have seen you here before. Thank you for joining us again. Shouting Hall, hello from Walter's mom, Florida. Hello. Hello, Karen. Hello, Jay. Good to see you again. Brenda, Leap Frog successful. Leap Fall. Hello, Pat. Thanks for joining us, Pat. We've got an event coming up, right? Right? Soon. Soon. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys joining us. How about a little bit of feedback on the last story? I really love the way Tara told her story. I remember being very impressed with the power behind her speech. That it struck me the determination and that a bit of indignation and really well done. Hello, Karen. Thank you for joining us. Donna Burgie, probably maybe saying that right. And Stacy, good to see you here. Yes, Stacy, absolutely. Her love and dedication. She's very motivated and she's very involved in the cause. She doesn't really get into it in the story, but some of you may have noticed in the closing credits that she was one of the event coordinators for the interviews that we shot in Phoenix. It was her and thank you, Stacy. It was her and Beth Jolie. This episode is in my area. I stay about 50 minutes away from this family. How about that? It's happening everywhere. Just Maryland, heartbreaking to lose a child. I cannot imagine. You try to protect them all in their lives, and at some point, you just can't. It's out of your hands. Yeah. There's a thing. Wendy, did you make the leap? Are you here? I don't. I haven't seen your name, but it could be I missed that. I miss things sometimes. Wendy. All right. I appreciate you all being here. I want to share with you something that I tell the storytellers pretty uh, that I say to the storytellers pretty frequently. I tell them that the last part of a person's life is oftentimes and maybe every time someone else's lesson. That's no consolation, but it is important. Wendy, I saw you talking about your loss, and I wanted to share that with you, but I didn't want to take too much away from the story that was playing and the conversation that you guys had going on without me. So often a hard lesson, but yes, yes, absolutely. So anybody know who Flat Earth was? Cautionary tale for sure. Luckily, no. Yeah. Well, whoever Flat Earth was is no longer able to comment on our channel. I don't. Just peculiar though. Like the whole goal was just to agitate. Kind of weird. I don't even remember the name. Regardless, I just thought I would check if anybody had any inside scoop on who that was. Failed at that, Glenn. I failed at what? What I fail at? Agitation. I think sometimes when you see behavior like that in a chat that is obviously a deeply emotional kind of environment to do something with that level of disregard, I think sometimes is motivated by jealousy, by some sort of envy that is a sad thing. What was said, all that was said was flat earth, I believe. All capital letters, flat earth, over and over and over. And so I have some tools as because I'm live here, so I have some tools here, and so I put the person in timeout, which is such a juvenile thing, I think, to have as an option. But here I was faced with a circumstance where it kind of seemed like the thing to do, so I put them in timeout, and you can set it for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I set it for 1 minute, and as soon as the time was up, the flat Earth posts kept starting again, and so hello, Tara. Thank you for joining us. Were you there for the premiere? Most everyone in the room here in this chat environment was. Of course, you've already seen it. I had already seen it too, so uh, I didn't watch that close, but I had seen it before, kind of over and over. Right. Anyway, so glad you're here, Tara. Uh, It's such a powerful story. I loved. I remember. I don't know if you were here when I was saying this before, but I remember when we did the interview, the kind of strength and power that came across in your interview is really impressive. I thought. Karen says you can do short timeouts, but then if it continues in there, one unfortunately a 24-hour timeout may be necessary. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to really a minute long timeout didn't have any effect. So uh, there's too many people here on this channel who are vulnerable and who can be hurt than to have that kind of a person motivated to make posts like that in this group. So they can't be in the group anymore. Greetings, Mrs. Tenney. Amazing job on such a sad situation and story. Definitely a strong mom, likes mines. That's why we have to be gentle with everyone. Just to troll and can't deal with someone who does not feel. Yep. I go with kind reasoning, but it's disruptive to others. You're right. Thank you, Karen. It's an odd spot that uh, we are ferociously protective of our storytellers. There's a lot of them, and we don't we, we stop anything we can stop that's going to hurt them. That can be that could be comments in a chat, or it could be comments that are made on their story or whatever. They're They're our first priority. So, so it seemed to me like just a troll. Anyway, so Tara, since you're here, holy cow, what was the interview experience like for you, Tara? Yeah, since we got you here. Shouting how some people are so uneducated on addiction. The stigma brings out so much hate and evil, the judgment, ignorance. The stigma is here in life and death of our loved ones. This is difficult for many people who are affected by addiction, not just us addicts ourselves, but those who are loved ones of someone who's addicted. So the yeah the thing that's often forgotten about the struggle of addiction is that it's a whole family thing. It isn't just the person who is addicted or the person who has the substance use disorder. It's everyone close to that person. They get hurt deeply. They struggle to help their loved one and it doesn't work. They get sometimes they get stolen from, lied to, and those are all products of the addiction, not of the person. But it doesn't make it any less painful to the person who's on either end of it. So, gee, Tara, you know, I really like how much uh, how much of his personality comes through. How much to me, yeah, you didn't say a whole lot, uh, but what you said was concise and powerful, and and I found that it was real easy to get drawn into that sense of feeling like you knew Kelson, and that and that he was a kick, and that there's things that you talk about him doing that while you talk about it, people in the audience are picking some teacher out of their life experience and imagining it happening with them. So I think you said a lot. I'm sorry, let me catch up. Generation how they end up learning the hard way when it happens to someone they love, for sure. Glenn, you probably do not even know how wonderful this channel is or how many say, thank God you are one amazing person. Well, thank you. Thank you, Wendy. I think if yeah, I don't know if I should read that out loud. Even it sounds so. I don't know. I'm very grateful for that. I am. I am so grateful to get to do this kind of work and to have this sustainable pathway to keep doing this kind of work and to keep exploring these stories that matter about fentanyl and about other topics like human trafficking and mental illness and domestic violence. And and part of what is so awesome about it all is the way that people come together. the way when we have a storytelling summit, there is usually always 3 or 4 or 5 people hanging out while I'm interviewing someone. And the ones that are hanging out are people that have already done their interview or are waiting for their time to do their interview. And the magic that happens in that other room, in the room where people are just waiting and drinking coffee and eating donuts or whatever, that that magic that happens there between between those people, a lot of times they just met that hour and immediately connected. So uh, it's it's really amazing. What else can I say? What I miss? I know I saw Julie. Julie, we're getting close, right? Julie, I suspect you probably met Tara, right? Yeah, yeah. That both of your interviews were shot in Phoenix. We appreciate you so much, Glenn. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. Tara is I don't really know how to describe it other than to say really powerful. Like you feel like you can't yank her around. It's cool. Yes, we do, Marianne. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, folks. So I thought I might share with you a little bit of what kind of comments we've received for this storytelling summit that's going to be in Denver in June that we announced on our channel just a couple of weeks ago, and it has drawn some it's drawn a few really crazy comments, and I thought I might share with him. I might share some of them. Sorry, I was trying to do two things at once. That's what I get. Shawneen, I can't imagine your pain or how you go on fighting every day. Your stories help me to stay clean another day so I don't put my family through the grief. Blessings, love, and peace to everyone in the chat. We never know what someone is going through, so be kind. Absolutely. That's such an important, simple kind of life rule that you don't know. You don't know. How many times have you had something distracting you, bouncing around in your brain, keeping you from being present in the world the way you would prefer to be because you have some demon, some conflict happening in your head, happening between you and other family members or coworkers or friends or whatever. Everyone should be sensitive to that, aware of that, considerate. That doesn't really seem like asking a whole bunch. It's not crazy talk, right? Okay, folks. So I was telling you about the comments on the post about cannabis-induced psychosis. Uh, I don't know. Someone said it was incredibly short-sighted. I asked them to complain, and I don't know why the rebuttal, the comment that they made didn't show up, but it was funny. One person said, "I'm a destroyer of Doritos in my psychosis." Leave it to Texas to keep pushing on the old reefer madness conspiracy created by Democrats. Hmm. So the reaction is just, it seems kind of comical to me that the level, one person said the pothead army is quick to defend their pocket salad. All right, so anyway, those are the same people who think everything is a joke. I suspect maybe so. Tara, it was evident you loved your son. My mom hates me and badmouths her three brothers, my uncles, that are all dead from addiction. She thinks she's better. Not. She still trashes her uncles. That's such a terrible thing to have to deal with, Julie. That's rough. But there is compassion and empathy for people. It is out there. It is in this chat right now. There's a lot of compassion, empathy, wanting to help others. All of that. It's all alive in this virtual room that we're in. Wendy says, "I'm soon joining your channel. If I get to ever meet you, don't worry. The crying will be because I'm happy for the work you do daily." Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, help me remember where you at. Are you in Canada? Maybe not. Where are you, Wendy? Thank you, Joan. Uh, New York. Okay. Okay, we've had a couple of inquiries from New York from people who want to share their story. We are going to be in Norfolk, Virginia, which isn't exactly close, but it's closer than Texas. And you're welcome to come visit the set. You don't have to share a story to stop by for a visit and you know bring donuts. But seriously, Wendy, you are welcome to come by. Society has lost empathy and compassion. Awareness has now become a popularity contest. I'm here if anyone ever needs to talk. Xiaoning, you could be right. I'm just I'm just not going to believe it. That I just don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe society has lost empathy. And there's always examples you can point at that show that society has empathy or that members of society have empathy. Maybe there's fewer Or it could be that people with empathy just feel like they can't share it so openly anymore because they'll draw some sort of ridicule from others. Ridiculing others is a very popular thing these days, it seems like. And it could be that empathy is a casualty of that ridicule. Pat says, I think the empathy in this room is largely because of the reason that we are here, this horrible common denominator. Michelle says to Julie, I'm sorry you had that experience. Wendy, yes. My sister's in South Carolina. My aunt is in Virginia, and my uncle too. Well, gee, Wendy, you could work with Pat to sort out when's the right time to go to Norfolk, and yeah, maybe give you a coffee mug or something. Where am I at? I've never felt more at home than this chat. Oh, come on, Wendy. Ah, road trip. Yeah, y'all come on down. We will be in. Okay, Norfolk, Virginia. We're also going to be in Wichita, Kansas soon, and then we have a firm date for Denver. Wife is from Norfolk, Virginia Beach. What is the time period? I will bring some donuts. Remember, I'm a sailor. You're a sailor, and so I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. A sailor? Does that mean you'll give me some sort of language coaching? Right? Maybe not. So this is really a beautiful group. I'm just fascinated by it. I get so captivated just reading the comments and and how cool it is that you guys can just continue on, even if uh, even if I don't participate, if I step out for a little while. So that's awesome. I love them all. So, folks, I want to tell you about a couple of things. So there's the events coming up: Wichita, Denver, Norfolk. With each of those events, oh my gosh, there's another one too. With each of those, oh, I understand, Jay. I was in the Navy for 30 years. The largest naval base in the world is Norfolk. There is more good than evil, a way to divide. Deidre Potts, I'm in Oklahoma. I am SOL on that road trip. Well, all right. So from Houston, we're going to be going to Wichita, Kansas, and then Denver. Deidre. So where does your location in Oklahoma fit in with the road between Houston and Wichita? I'm not keeping up. I just went over and watched Tara's documentary. You really showed us how wonderful your son was. Thank you. Yeah, Tara, you really nailed it. I genuinely believe you really nailed it. You were not, oh, this is a tough spot. You you weren't unrealistic in your praise. You were practical and sincere, and I thought it was awesome. All right, so most definitely then Southern Oklahoma, and it doesn't fit in. It doesn't fit in. Deidre, I am an Okie too. We could carpool to Wichita. Holy cow. Or maybe when I'm passing through Oklahoma, we could meet for lunch or dinner. Maybe. Totally game for that. It is so cool getting together with you guys and just having that uh, having that time to just hang out and visit. To answer your question, Jay, got the date narrowed down to July. That's as close as I've gotten him to a definite date. We haven't set a definite date, huh? Okay. All right. Well, you guys got to keep me posted because you you got to keep me engaged. You got to keep reminding me because I forget stuff because my brain is really full because I know a lot and so some things slip out. All right. So hmm, I could hug everyone and look in their eyes and tell them I love them. Too cool. Shaween, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was worried about backlash from my interview if someone doesn't like it. Tough. Here's the thing about that. There's a good chance someone's not going to like something if it's a family member talking. There's a good chance someone's not going to be happy about something, and the beauty is friction means that something's being accomplished. Friction is revealing what areas need to be addressed. Engineers love friction because it's it identifies what needs attention. And it's the same with people. Sam Clinton Network. Hello, Sam. Thank you for joining us. Marianne, Glenn, you're an amazing gentleman. Thank you, Marianne. I you guys are gonna have me coming on live every day just to fish compliments. Let me get it. Mr. Glenn, we remember you are 36 years old now. We appreciate 36. Yeah, something like that. You might have the numbers transposed there. Have you heard any of my son's story, Glenn? Uh, I don't know. Have I? Uh, I do hear a lot of stories, not just stories during the interviews. There's a lot of those, but also I get phone calls and text messages from people who want to really who want to share their story on our channel or want to talk to me about how the process works or something like that. And so I don't know if I've heard your son's story or not, Chowning. Stacy. Okay. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Okay, I'm getting confused now. I feel like I missed something. Oh, good, good. Here goes the dogs. That's great. I'm sorry. So, how cool is that? I just go to a picture, turn off the microphone, and I can holler, and then come back. My brothers. Okay, let me catch up, folks. Wendy, retract, Deidre, Stacy. That never crossed my mind. I couldn't figure out what you're talking about there, Deidre. Uh, Joan Henderson, my brother's daughter, died at 21 from an overdose of fentanyl. Very sorry for your loss. There's really never anything to say about losing someone other than sorry for your loss, which it it feels kind of empty. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's the people here make it easy. That all my you would think I would be responsible enough to develop some content and have notes and have some ideas of what to talk about. The only idea to talk about is the premiere of this is a story that just premiered because that's fresh on everyone's mind and to talk about whatever's coming up. So yeah, this has gotten to be a good experience, a good, powerful, positive experience for me. I It helps me understand people. I've learned more about addiction and recovery from doing these live chats from the people that participate in the chat, and I know that there's more people listening in that are just present and watching, and we appreciate that. Then there are people that are part of the chat, and I'm grateful to all of you for being here. Okay, did I just ramble off on a transit? Somebody said, who was it? Was it Tara? This was not your fault. Please don't let anyone say it was. Tara. Tara knows. Tara knows it's not her fault. Surely she knows. Okay, let's see. Karen said, Glenn, you're so comfortable talking on a live. I remember one of the first ones. You were fine then, but I see how chill you are now. No one is more surprised by that than me. That this has become easy, and that's weird to me. But here we are, and I am glad to be here and glad to be interacting with people who are uh, in the fight, supporting the cause. needing a little comfort, needing a little opportunity to vent. So, backlash from telling the stories, Glenn. Backlash from the videos, Glenn. What was the backlash? How did I? Okay. You have a dog? What kind? Ooh, I realize I'm supposed to know that. I'm sure my wife told me I could try. There's actually 3 dogs. I could get one of them. The other two, I have a hard time with stairs. One of them is a Shih Tzu. One is another little dog. And then there's Tucker. So just stand by a second and we'll see what we can make happen. All right, so we'll see if the dog show. Oh, yeah, well, okay. All right, come on. Come here. All right. So, okay. This is Tucker. There's Tucker. He's a, a doodle, Labrador. I don't know. It's part poodle, part something else. It's kind of a big dog. Okay. All right. So there's a dog. Okay, let me catch up. You're welcome. It surely doesn't cover what they feel. Thanks, Miss Stacy. I appreciate your kind words. I'm catching up, folks. Mr. Muse, we got you. All you need is the intro plus. I know your correct age. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, I know my correct age too. And so I feel like I missed it. Yes, Tara, my family was stigmatized to the hilt. I had a heart attack from the stigma, my son not being included or honored because of their past arrest records, his mugshot in my inbox. Brenda says, John, being here helps me each and every time. My gratitude journal reads like a tribute to TPD. Okay. Wow. That's awesome. I love being here. I love you being here. So I can give you our goal is to do this again. What day is today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, uh, Thursday. So here's a question, folks. What about earlier in the day, like mid afternoon? I'm sure mid afternoon varies, but like right now is 7:40 here Central Time. And what if we were to go live sometime in the morning or afternoon, like earlier in the afternoon? Is that better for some people, worse for some people? Maybe the dogs can tell you who they are. That'd be sweet. Of course, I'm not sure I want the dogs to be able to tell me stuff. Anyway, so thank you, anything. Joan being here helps me. That's awesome. Anytime you need to talk, always here for anyone. Always. Good job, Wendy. I appreciate you being here. Deidre Potts, I can feel the love and support here for absolute sure. It is awesome, isn't it? It is powerful, and it is. It seems to grow and be bigger every time. You're awesome, Brenda. You got this. You are awesome, Brenda. You got it. You got it. No, what makes you awesome just in what you present here is the awareness and the compassion and the empathy and the connection and the openness, the willingness to connect. Those are all giant things and awesome qualities. So yeah, you're awesome. Do 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 do. Maybe the dogs can tell you who. Yeah, thanks a lot. Tara is a person as well, and that was evident. That is admirable. You have to take care of yourself to help others. That's for sure. It's just like being on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down. You have to put yours on first. You're worthless if you're not taking care of yourself first. Oh, doggies, cute. Dogs, yes, please. Most dogs. I love my dogs more than my people. I love my dogs more than my people. Gosh, maybe. Uh, I lost my point. Wow, I missed a lot. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. Most days I love my dogs more than my people. Oh, so hi Tucker, hi Tucker. I had a Tucker. Mine was a Dow. Ah, what a cutie. Yeah, he is a cutie, and he's done. I love his face. Yeah, yeah. He's a cool dog. He's pretty sharp and good time and doesn't tear things up. That's cool. That's a good combination right there. Deidre, I love the gratitude journal idea. That's such a huge thing. Gratitude is such a giant thing, and it's so it's common in all religions that if you think about prayer, uh, how typically prayer begins with gratitude. Heavenly Father, thank you for gratitude. Thank you. If you think about the flow process of prayer, first you talk about what you're grateful for. Then you talk about what's important to you. And then you talk about finding a pathway to get where you want to be. And then you bring it back around to gratitude before you close. So, what a great mental exercise, even without faith, to go through those steps to think about what you're grateful for, think about what's important to you, think about the pathway to get there, and then be grateful for what you have again. What a perfect circle of a good journey. All right, so sorry, Pat. I hope I didn't trespass. No, where I love to you all. Y'all are amazing and love each and every one of you. Later the better. I work so much. I work too much. Later the better. You're making me tired. All right, all right. Maybe. Well, what does that mean? Later the better. Actually, what I've noticed is later does tend to work better. It is almost 8 o'clock here now, and we have right now. There's 54 people in the room. There's 54 people watching right now, and it only gets that high later in the evening. So like after dinner, like maybe somewhere around this time, like maybe 7:30 Central Time would be the ideal time to start a live event. We're not always going to have a premiere to go with a live event, but I do try to do this on a regular enough basis that you guys can kind of sort of count on it. But I have I have stuff going on out there too, and I don't have any sort of guest host I can bring on because it's just me. So Shawnee, I had to start a journal because the first 45 days of recovery I had two emotions, sad and mad. Hmm. And Brenda, the journal help with that? I bet it did. One of the cool things about journaling is it forces you to really think about your thoughts. It makes you kind of organize them in a way where you can sometimes you'll start to write something and then you start thinking, I don't know, this not that doesn't really belong here. And then with that decision, it doesn't really belong in your head either. And then you move on to something else or not. I love being here, Deidre. Heart. I'm flexible. I work from home. I do love these live chats. Thank you, Jay. I love you all. Joan, love you. Stacy, Deidre, Stacy, Brenda, Hart, Wendy, anytime. Deidre, Pat, Karen Lee, Showman, I am so sorry that happened. There seems to be an invisible line between dying from addiction and fentanyl poisoning. I think all lives should be honored and remembered. I think all lives are honored and remembered by some. We've seen things. People deal with grief in strange kind of peculiar ways that sometimes dealing with grief makes people hostile even toward people that they have connections with. I have seen conflicts happen between angel moms that were over the age of their angel. And it's really not a conflict like that. It's not a conflict. It is just a little bit of venting frustration that turns into a conflict as people deal with grief in sometimes difficult ways, sometimes unusual, unpredictable ways. Brenda, I'm going to start one. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, yeah, do a journal. Kodak Black supporters. Do you think Trump will save us from this epidemic? No. Kodak Black. Did we had a conversation about your name before, didn't we? That's funny. Right. We talked about a band, right? And yeah, we had the conversation and it's a band. I I thought of you like 3 hours ago, maybe 4 hours ago now. But earlier today, I thought of that conversation because we talked because I couldn't remember the name Kodak Black, but I know we talked about how I should give a listen, and I talked about Jackson Brown, right? I'm sorry. Okay, so what was the did I miss a question? But yeah, but so I remember the conversation though, Kodak, because we talked about the rapper and talked about Jackson Brown. Anyway, let me get let me get caught up. Glenn, say it loud. What am I saying loud? Am I not saying it loud? What am I doing? Did I whisper? Is that it? That's it because I whispered. Okay. Julie Burnett, 5:48 p.m. in Arizona, but only Arizona, and Hawaii have no daylight savings time because Arizona is special. It's got to be it. Thanks for letting me know you also feel behind in the world. I was afraid it was just me. Say it loud. Is that loud? Yes, we did. Please don't bring politics in the chat. That's the thing. And then politics can certainly create some friction. I think that here's what I think. This fentanyl issue became an issue in 2012. That's a long time ago. So here's some simple facts. The increasing presence of fentanyl in illicit drugs began in 2013, according to the CDC. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services declared the opioid crisis a public health emergency in 2017. The crisis spans four administrations and includes both parties. Everybody has had a bite at this apple and they let it get away. Everybody had a crack. So that's kind of where I'm at on politics. I can get mad at either side, and so that's not really being neutral. It is being critical. That's reasonable, I think. All right, Miami rapper. Da da da. God made us all. God loves you. Shani, you're stating exactly what I have unfortunately seen. There needs to be no judgment. No judgment for sure. Wow, I didn't know it was that long ago. Yeah, it's a Google thing. I can actually post our sources right now. How about this? Here's some sources. Okay, so let me get caught up. Yes, I remember. Yes, we did. Da, 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 no judgment. Oh, look, I'm getting close to caught up. They all passed. They all passed from illicit drugs. At the end of the day, they are all here because we lost a child. No angel should be judged on what they did in active addiction, and families shouldn't be judged. Yeah, it grew dramatically and continuously from 2013 to now. That it's actually the line has gone kind of like this, and then a little bit of an arc happening in the last year and a half or so. But it's not that there's been a drop, there's just been a slow in the increase. Way different. They all but yeah did that. Okay. Thumbs up, y'all. Yeah, thank you, Deidre. Guys, thumbs up, y'all, because we got 16 thumbs up and we've got 64 people in the room. Okay, 60 in the room. So just click that thumbs up thing. It helps. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. I had no idea then. That is super scary. Unfortunately, people will judge no matter. Yeah, there's always going to be people who are like that, and some of them could be out of reach. But reasonable people will look at facts and draw conclusions and consider the sources and do the responsible thing. I only found out in 2022 with my nephew. Okay, 2022 is when I found out. I found out when we started doing these fentanyl stories. The whole series began with the DEA hiring us. I mean, we're a video production company. We've been in business since 2007. We've had a YouTube channel since 2009. And DEA hired us to create stories at a family summit they had going on. And I met with them and I developed this idea about how to make them special and impactful. And so we did it and put them on our channel and they took off. So in 2022 is when I learned about fentanyl. And it would have been August or September of 22 that I learned about it. All right. So sorry to interrupt, but I need to drop off. Okay, Tara, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm so glad to have your story done. Uh, I'm, I'm it's weird. I like the story. I think it's very powerful. I like watching you have a little bit of that righteous indignation that you sometimes have that comes across as so strong and full of conviction. It's all good and it's captivating. So it's very cool. Tara, thank you. I can't pretend to know how you feel, but I love you and will keep you peace. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Miss Tinny, my fellow Zonian. Tara will watch your story now. Thank you for sharing. Show me yes. All right, folks. So we have got to. I'm going to make a note right now to catch up with Pat and sort out a final actual date for Norfolk. So I'm just making a note. I want to do it while I'm thinking about it because, like I said, my brain is way full. Okay, folks, do you guys have questions for me? Anything? I know I always ask this, and that's really my way of saying I'm running out of stuff. So, do you guys have questions for me? I feel like next time maybe we could kind of get into, well, whatever you guys want. Wow, I do not know how to spell Wichita, but that's okay. I have technology that does. Thank you all for being here. So, does anybody have questions you'd like to put to me? While I'm here. Thank you for joining us, Pat. I know it's pretty late there for you old guys. Okay, so as far as when the best times are to do this, it feels like later the better in general. Like I think maybe starting now would be too late. Starting at it's 8 o'clock here, so it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So maybe if we were to start more like around 7 o'clock here, then it would be 6 o'clock going west and 8 o'clock going east. And so that's kind of splitting the difference. In the next few days, we also have an anniversary coming up. On April 21st is Texas Pictures anniversary. And we will be 18 years old. Amazing again. You're killing me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here. What other questions? Anyone have any questions that you'd like to that you'd like me to answer? Anything? Uh, as we are here. Great, loving work. Thank you, Stacy. It is. I too am afraid to share my recovery story. Maybe we can face our fears through our new friendship. So here's the thing about sharing your story. That if there's good reason not to share your story publicly, then don't. Good reason if you're if you're a high school teacher and you're in recovery, as long as you're true to yourself, you're in a good place. And and making your story public would be taking a risk that you don't need to take. When you talk here, when you engage, when you talk here, you're protected, but you're still sharing your story bits and pieces at a time with people who want to listen and people who learn from it. Julie, what's for dinner? We had meatloaf. It's good. It's all gone. Congratulations on the anniversary. Thank you. Brenda, shout too. I'm afraid to share my recovery. Maybe we can face our fears through our new friendship. I can tell you the process is easy. It's just you and me talking. We're just talking. You can't even see the camera. Surely there's others here who can say, you can't see the camera, right? Julie, you can't see the camera. It's just a conversation. Once you get started, it just starts to flow. Was your first video the Deepwater Horizon video? I don't remember doing a Deepwater Horizon video. What it was Deepwater? Is that a rig? We had done a lot of oil and gas work. In the first 10 or 12 years of Texas Pictures, most of our work was for industrial clients. And so because of that, we got to travel a lot, got to go all over the world. I have been on every continent on earth on other people's money. Here's this is where we've been. And uh, there should be another star in Guatemala. And I think that's it. I think other than that, it's pretty current. And so I don't get the horizon reference, the whatever it was, the deep horizon, offshore horizon, whatever it was. Come to Tampa. I'm scared to tell my story, but we'll be there to support everyone. Shawneen, we were just in Florida. We shot in Jacksonville, Cocoa Beach, and Pensacola, which is a little farther north than Tampa. I know, but we've been to Tampa too. It's been a while. We probably need to get back again. Thank you, Jay. Wendy, thanks. Congratulations on the anniversary. Great, loving work. Yes, yes, it is. This is, I can tell you guys that this, doing this, what we're doing, traveling all over the country. And in the last 18 months, we've been to the middle of Florida, and we've been to Anchorage, Alaska, and tons of places in between. We've been to Sandusky, Ohio, on the bank of Lake Erie, and 5 miles or 10 miles out into the lake is the border with Canada. And less than 3 weeks before that, I was standing on the bank of the Rio Grande. I mean, like one step away from my foot being in the river. We've been to California, and we've been to Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Kansas, Tennessee, New Mexico, Arizona, all in the last 18 months. And so for me, doing this, getting to meet these people, talk to them, learn from them, and give them this chance to find a way to pull just a little bit of value out of this terrible, senseless loss and to turn it into something that helps others. I, I get to be a part of that. On our channel, we call it Stories That Matter, and I so completely believe that. It's really it's a wonderful, overwhelming kind of blessing to me. So I know I've said a lot of that stuff before. But I just I want you guys to know I'm so grateful to be doing this. All the stories I've met so many really amazing, resilient people doing the fentanyl stories, but also the the addiction recovery stories, the human trafficking stories, the domestic violence stories, Julie, the the stories that we're still figuring out how to tell about mental health and this idea for a series for the homeless, or can call them the unhoused if you like, but that just doesn't seem like it really accomplishes anything. Glenn, no words could say how you've helped me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. I'm glad I can be there. I can't begin to describe how all you folks helped me. How so I will speak louder than the stigma, and we will all come together with hard work, unity, and love. Good job. All right, Wendy. So I could be in that domestic violence. I mean, yeah, you could. Sometimes when we record some of the stories on our channel, there's overlap. There's overlap between addiction and fentanyl stories, and there's overlap between addiction and human trafficking stories. There's overlap uh, between all of these things, and so when we create a story, it's it's touching on a lot of topics. Where am I at? Awesome, Xiaoming Hall. You are amazing. I don't know what I'm Xiaoming. I will speak louder than the stigma. That thing right there. I will speak louder than the stigma. How cool is that? Our family is a long line of a mess. Yeah. What family isn't? Addiction and fentanyl go together. Without addiction, we wouldn't have this big crisis. Well, sure, but of course, addiction was around long before fentanyl was around. Right, and then addiction is typically or frequently connected with some forms of human trafficking, for sure, or sex trafficking or whatever. That addiction or substance use disorder, maybe addiction, maybe not, uh, but that's a common thing with trafficking stories. It's a common response to mental health issues. There's a lot of overlap. Hmm. So it's looking to be like it's right about time to try to start wrapping it up, folks. So I'm I I hope you got a sense of how grateful I am for you guys. Really, that you guys being here and engaging in the chat, and even those who just watch, read, learn, and don't say anything. I'm so unbelievably glad that you're all here. So I always try to remind folks at the end of the chat about ways to get in touch with me. That I am always available through email and through Facebook. Can't have a message without a mess. Can't have testimony without a test. Good job, Brenda. Didn't that come from an earlier chat, earlier live event? Was that did you say it before, or did that come from someone else? Thank you, Stacy. Thank you very much, Wendy. I know how thankful you are. Yes, you're grateful, Mrs. Pell. Thank you, Karen. All right, folks. I'm gonna give you guys the phone number again as soon as I remember how to show it here. Okay, I got it. All right, Viola. Thank you for what you do. You connect the dots. Thank you. That's a cool way to put it. I like that. That's cool. Illicit fentanyl has been around for a long time. Just addiction has gotten worse because we don't address why they are numbing something. It's just now so many kids being taken, it's being talked about. 85% of majority of these deaths are addicted angels. It is starting to get more attention. There's always been a core group that talks about addiction, and addiction really doesn't matter if it doesn't matter what the addiction is. It's the same demon regardless whether it's alcohol or crack or fentanyl or heroin, meth, whatever. It's all the same. In 2017, 2016, we were working on a documentary about synthetic cannabinoids, which is fake weed, basically potpourri sprayed with chemicals. And I interviewed people who were living on the street using synthetic cannabinoids who talked about how great they were because because they weren't drinking anymore. Like that's a reasonable trade. I'm smoking fake weed, but I'm not drinking anymore. So the substance, I don't think matters near so much as the motive, the demand. Thank you, Viola. I don't know. You just started talking. I don't know if you just joined us, but we're about to wrap this up. So is there any other questions? Anybody have anything else they'd like to ask or suggest or see on our channel? Any ideas? Any suggestions? Anything? Anything? Yes, I cut it down this time. I'm sorry, Brenda. What did you? Pat and I both use it. Use it. All right, Viola. Well, hope the physical therapy went well. So, all right, folks. Thank you, shouting. Love always wins. Absolutely. I think that's really true. And I think that part of the key of it being true is that it just takes believing it's true. You tend to attract what you dwell on. So if you spend your life focusing on problems, you'll attract more problems. If you spend your life focusing on things to be grateful for, you'll have more of that. I am 100% certain that works. All right, folks. So we're going to, that's such a good closer, isn't it? So I want to say thank you again for joining us all. Here is our contact information so that you can reach out to us whenever you like. You can find me on Facebook. My name is Glenn Muse. Or you're welcome to email us at info@texas-pictures.com. And I, 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 all I can say is thank you for being here. I feel like you guys are my support system, and I'm grateful for you all. So we will see you guys again next time. Good night.